ladies and gentlemen, with deep respect in our hearts and serenity in the air, we gathered once again in this sacred confluence of devotion, culture, and literature. Santhavani. I am Naglakshmi K. Rao, Joint Director of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. It is my honor to serve as your Master of Ceremonies for today's sessions as we journey from the mystical tradition of India to the luminous words of saint poets. To begin session 2, we immerse ourselves in the rich and ancient spiritual stream of the Natha Parampara, a lineage where yoga, mysticism, and poetic wisdom meet. We are privileged to welcome our distinguished speaker, Dr. Dharanidhar Nath, former President, Board of Secondary Education, Odisha. Sir, we invite you to enlighten us. I would like to call upon the stage Mr. Vijay Parija to brief a introduction of Dr. Dharanidhar Nath.
Namaskara. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The man you can see, Dr. Dharanidhar Nath from Orissa. Dr. Dharanidhar Nath, a noted administrator, educationist, and a research of Nath culture, and is the first PhD awardee in Odia language. Give a big round of applause for him. And he has done his PhD, the awardee in Odia language and literature from Ravenshaw University, Orissa, for his discussion on impact of Nath culture on Odia literature and society. Dr. Nath joined Odisha Administrative Service in 1979, holding many governmental positions such as Project Director, DRDA. He has served in many districts of Odisha in various positions of administrative service is like district of Kendrapada, Angul, Jagatsinghpur, Jaspur, and he was also once a collector of district Kendrapada and president of Board of Secondary Education Odisha. Presently, he is working as an advisor for others group of institution Angul, and also for this one he has been working as the president of Odisha Nath Kalyana Samiti. His remarkable works in Oriya includes Anugulara Pala. Pala is one kind of folk we do there. They speak out on various regional or cultural this one, on various Ramayana and Mahabharata. Then Natha Siddha Maschendra Nath, Natha Siddha Navanatha he has done. Dr. Nath has won several awards including Padma Shri, Radha Mohan Gadanayak Samman, Jayadev Smriti Samman, Devgad Sahitya Samman, Odisha Samman, and Nagendranath Smriti Samman from Akhil Bharatiya Sahitya Sansad. Once again, we are very much thankful to this one, to sir, who has come all the way from there to give us little knowledge on Natha Parampara.
Thank you, Sri Vijay Parija. I request our director, Sri H.N. Suresh sir, to come on the dais and honor our esteemed guest.
Namaskar. Good morning, every one of you. Thank you, Vijay Babu, for the kind words you have used to introduce me. So, respected our director, Mr. H.N. Suresh, an eminent professor of repute, Dr. Satpathy, all the lovers of Sant Parampara and Nath Parampara, Madam Rajlakshmi. It is indeed a profound honor to stand before all of you. And I'm really utterly delighted to be a part of this conclave. And I take this privilege to applaud to commend and congratulate the unwavering dedication, unyielding spirit, concerted efforts of the members of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Bangalore, to organize such a wonderful conclave in an immaculate manner. So, before my deliberations on the topic, that is Nath Parampara, let me explain what do we mean by a Santha. Jagadguru Shankaracharya in Vivek Chudamani has said, Santa Mohanto Nivasanti Santo Basanta Ballola Hitam Taranta Jitaha Swayam Bhimam Bhavanabam Janan Hetunananyapi Tarayataha. So who is a saint? And what are the saint banis? So, who is a saint? The peaceful and magnificent saints live like the spring season. They have compassion for others. They have themselves crossed the dreadful ocean of worldly existence, and without any personal motive, any personal intention, they help others to cross it as well. So, saints in India are the integrators of India. They fought for the unity and integrity of India. They have magnified and dignified the image of India. So let me begin by asking you one question to all of you. Is there any inscription of Santhavani in the wall of the Hall of United Nations of Organization? कोई संत का वाणी do you find on the wall of United Nations of Organization? Yes, the answer is positive, 100% positive. And do you know that Sant is from Odisha? He was Bhima Bhoi, a tribal poet of the 19th century. His prophetic lines are Mo jibana pache narke padi thau. Endless is the suffering of a man. Prani ko arat dukha apramita dekho dekho ke ba sahu. Endless are the miseries, the woes and the wells of the human beings. So who can bear and tolerate this? Mo jibana pache narke padi thau. Let my life be dimmed to hell. You throw me into hell. But Jagata Uddhara heu. Let the world be redeemed. Generally what happens there is one Upanishad, the Brihanika Upanishad, Bruhananyaka Upanishad. We quote some lines generally from that Upanishad. Om Sarve Bhavanto Sukhinaha. Let all be happy, but including me. But Bhimambai says, no, you throw my life into hell. I do not want my sukha. I do not want my happiness. But let the world be redeemed. And that's why you have given him a topic, that is Nath Parampara. This Nath Parampara, I tell you, is a vast topic. But I'll try to do justice for the topic. Because such a topic encompasses many aspects of the Nath cult. But however, mainly I dwell on the glimpses of the Nath Parampara. Secondly, what are the yogic practices of Nath Parampara? What are the great traditions? What are the small traditions of the Nath Parampara? And the contribution of Nath Parampara on the literary literally landscape of India. What are the contribution of Nath saints for the evolution of the vernacular language of India? To what extent they have enriched the development of provincial languages, and also the Nath Parampara, as you find now in Asia Pacific countries and in most of the Indian states. So, as all of you know, the topic is Nath Parampara. Nath Parampara embraces two words. One is Nath, the next is Parampara. So, what is this Nath? Nath is a Hindu sect. Nath is a Hindu panth. But Western scholars say, no. Naths are not Hindus. It's a different religion. And these Nathas, can you believe, in India, the population of Nathas in all the states comes to 24 crores. 24 crores. And these Nathas are also known as Nath Pantha, Nath Sampradaya. And Nath Yogis also we call them. So Siddha Mata, Siddha Marga, Yogi Marga, Yoga Sampradaya, Abdhut Mata, Abdhut Sampradaya, Gorakha Sampradaya, Adinath Sampradaya. So these are some of the appellations. These are also other names for Nath Sampradaya. So the Nathas also have been known as Kanpata yogis because of the method of wearing Karna Kundala by tearing the ears. Next is the very word Nath is used as a noun. And what is the meaning of Nath also linguistically? When it is used as a noun, Nath means the master. Nath means the protector. Nath means he who gives shelter. So the followers of this Sampradaya, Nath Sampradaya, and also the followers of Gorakhnath and 12 sub-branches, they are known as Nathas. And also some who have controlled their senses through yogic practices, they are also known as Nathas. So the word is also used for Lord Shiva. In Natha texts, Shiva is often called as Adilath. So when we come linguistically, you find Natha, syllable na is there, syllable tha is there. So linguistically, the word Nath is associated with the Sanskrit root Nath, meaning to have dominion or power, but also to implore or beseech. Nath is also explained in traditional sources according to homilactic etymology. Thus, the Rajaguhya states that the syllable na, that connotes, that means the anadi. Mane without any origin. And the primordial form, whereas the syllable tha connotes stapita. So, established. Natha then would mean the primeval form or dharma established in the three worlds. Next, the word parampara. You see, parampara, the word is a little bit different from the English word tradition. Parampara means is the best defined as an unbroken, continuous succession or lineage through which knowledge, wisdom, and practices are transmitted, are transferred across generations. You find, unlike the English word, what we call tradition, it is derived from the Latin word meaning trader or traderer, meaning to transmit or to hand over, sometimes refer to mere customs or static rituals. The word actually, English word tradition, conveying the meaning has certain limits. But a parampara, it emphasizes a vital, living chain of knowledge transferred typically from a teacher, from a guru to a disciple Sishya. So this ensures the authenticity, purity, and continuity of the original teachings, whether they are spiritual, artistic, scientific, or cultural. So next, the very question that crops up in your mind, that is, what are the sources of origin of Nath Parampara? Very briefly, I will tell you, there are 4 sources. Nathas are Shaivites. Nathas are Shaiva in orientation. By the 6th century AD in India, all these Shaiva schools have flourished. One of the prominent schools was Maheshwar Shaiva Sampradaya. So this school has 2 branches. One is Pashupad Shaiva and another is Agmik Shaiva. So this Nath cult comes under the Agmik Shaiva. So in due course of time, this Nath cult by 7th century AD flourished like anything. Secondly, some scholars say, they what? Now this Siddha tradition, Nath Sampradaya is the culmination of the older Siddha Sampradaya or Avdhut Sampradaya. Then also Nath Sampradaya is the culmination of Rasayana school. There was a scholar in Odisha. He was Dr. Dulgovind Sastri. He got his PhD as a Sanskrit scholar, a Bengali scholar, English scholar. So he was the co-brother, in case of lineage of Vaishnava Parampara, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. They are disciples from one guru. So he has written a book, Natha Dharmara Krama Vikas. There he has indicated that the present Natha cult Panth originated from the Bhratyas. Before the arrival of Aryas into India, the Bhratyas, they had their empire in India. They are adept in yogic practices. They are the worshippers, the followers of the Atharva Veda. So that is also one of the theory. And what happened, Sanskrit scholars like Rahul Shankridayan, Dr. Barthwal, Ramchandra Shukla, they opine that this Natha Parampara or the Natha cult, essentially a crypto-Buddhist or an esoteric Buddhist cult. But as regards the place of origin of Nath Sampradaya, scholars say the Nath Sampradaya originated in Punjab near Lahore. Some scholars say in Odisha, others in Bengal. But one scholar, that is R.C. Dhere, he is from Punna. He says, no. He has mentioned Sri Parbat as the rising center of the Nath Sampradaya. So he said, Andhra, Karnataka, and Maharashtra was initially the core area of Nath Sampradaya. He believes that the studying of Nath Sampradaya, scholars have not given special attention anyway to the exact origin of the Nath Sampradaya. Then, what are the sources? What are the inspiring figures? As like Mr. Suresh, he is the bedrock of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Bangalore branch. So, who are the bedrocks of this Nath Sampradaya, Nath Parampara? Scholar says, yes, Navanathas were there. So, the first reference of Navanathas is found in Sanskrit text, Kubu Jika Mata, in which they have been called Lord of the Nine Chakras, founder of the Siddhas, Lord of the Kolo, and leader of the Kolo. So, this is Kolo and Akula. These two words are used by Mashendra Nath in his Kolo Jnana Nirnaya. So, who are these Navnaths? They are Adinath, like Jyotishwaru, Mashendra Nath, Mashyavatar, Gorakshnath, Sivavatar, Chauranginath, Chandravatar, Udayanath, Parvativatar, Satyanath, Brahmavatar, Santoshnath, Vishnu Avatar, God's Kankarnath, Ganesh Avatar, Achala, Achambhanath, Sesavatar. So there are different opinions regarding the list of Navnaths. Again, who are the sources and who are the gurus of this Nath Parampara? There are 84 siddhas. In total, there are 5 theories regarding the list of 84 siddhas. The first list by Rahul Sankritayan, a great Sanskrit scholar. So he edited a list of 84 siddhas with the support of Sakhya Boom. The next is the codex called the Varna Ratnakara. The third list, Tattvasar of Jogi Changadeva. And the next, Sivadinkeshwara Matha of Paitan in Maharashtra. And there was a great scholar, Hajari Prasad Divade. He was working in Santi Niketan Vishwabharati. He had his own list also. But in all the lists, you will find the name of Gorakshnath and Matsyendranath. Matsyendranath, he belonged to the 9th or 10th century, and Gorakshnath, 11th or 12th century. These Nathas, you know, in a democracy, you find so many political parties. Also, as I told you, that during sin starting from 6th century AD, the Natha cult Parampara flourished like anything in the Indian subcontinent. So they have many branches, but scholars agree for 12 important branches. Those branches are Satyanaths, having its headquarters in Puri. The Mahanta of this Satyanath Math, located in Puri, already had sold that piece of land. Next is Dharmanath. Next is Pagal Panth, Rahul Panthi, Ai Panthi, Bhartuhari Nath, Hetupath, Dhadinath, Gajkanthar, Aghorpath, Tulnath, Payanath. So these are the 12 branches. But as you know, in every parampara or sect, there is a leader who gives new direction for the prosperity of the parampara. Exactly. In case of Nath Parampara, Goraknath, he is the apostle of Nath Parampara. So Goraknath is after Shankar. Goraknath is post Shankar, but pre-Ramanuj. But the first inscription bearing his name has been found in Karnataka, 1279 AD, in Kaleshwar temple, Mysore. Later references connect him with Nepal, Odisha, Rajasthan, and Bengal. For the yogis, however, far more important than a quest for historical evidence are the legends which surround Gorakshnath and also Matsyendranath. As regards the origin of Gorakshnath and the date of his birth, scholars differ. But however, G.W. Briggs, the Comfort Yogis, he has written a book published in 1938. Prabodh Chandra Bagchi, Vice Chancellor of Vishwa Bharati, they placed Gorakhnath and Kalyan Malik, Dr. Kalyan Malik from Bengal. They placed Gorakhnath as early as 11th century AD. Let me briefly tell you why Gorakhnath is so much importance in India. People have forgotten Kumaril Bhatt, not Gorakhnath. Why? A great Hindi scholar, he has Sumitra Nandan Pant. When he asked Osho, Bolo bhai, who are the 12 scholars, spiritual luminaries of India? You simply give 12 names. He gave the list: Krishna, Patanjali, Buddha, Mahavir, Nagarjuna, Shankar, Gorakhnath, Kabir, Nanak, Meera, Krishnamurti, and Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So Sumitra Nandan Pant ne bola, bhai, you simply give me 7 names. He gave also 7 names. No, you give me 4 names. So he gave the 4 names. Who are they? Na Krishna, Patanjali, and Gorakhnath. So Subindranath said, no, we make the list 3. I cannot. Why? No, I cannot. Why? Now he said, Gorakhnath opened up a new avenue and gave birth to a new religion. He explored something new. He invented something new in the human body. So I cannot drop Gorakhnath. Why? Now without Gorakhnath, there would be no Kabir, no Nanak. There would be neither Dadu or Wajid, or Farid, or Mira. These are all Indian saints. So again, now without Gorakh, there could be no Kabir, no Nanak, no Dadu, no Wajid, no Farid, no Mira. Without Gorakh, none of these are possible. India's whole saint tradition of mysticism is indebted to Gorakh. Just without Patanjali, there would be no possibility of a yoga in India. You cannot think of yoga without Patanjali. You cannot think of America without the Statue of Liberty. You cannot think of Bangalore without Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. You cannot think of France without the Eiffel Tower. So, without Buddha, the foundation stone of meditation would be uprooted. So, and without Krishna, the expression of love, the profound divine love, would find no path, no Jayadev, no Meera. Similarly, without Gorakh, the search that began for various techniques and the systems that developed to attain the ultimate truth and the systems of spiritual practice could not have been possible. So let me briefly discuss what is the darshan, what are the tenets, what are the doctrines of Nath Parampara. Yes, there are so many scholars, but most of the scholars, they accept the Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati, a Sanskrit treatise by Gorakhnath. This Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati is divided into 6 chapters. Each chapter is known as Upadesh. So each Upadesh, you will find the darshan of the Nath Parampara. The first Upadesh is Pindotpati, the origin of the Pinda, the origin of the cosmos. This cosmos is a Greek word. Second, the discussion on the body, Pinda Vichara. Third one is Pinda Sambhiti. Fourth one is Pinda Dhara. वो बॉडी का आधार क्या है? Fifth, The union of the body is the supreme reality. Sama, Rasa, Karana. And sixth is Abdhut Yogi Lakhana. So briefly let me tell you, who is the supreme reality? What is his name? His Annam. Annam cannot create this world. He takes the help of Shakti. So Shakti has 5 evolutes: Nija, Para, Apara, Sukshma, and Kundali. So how do we get the human pinda? Garbha pinda. For that, Gorakshnath says that the 6 stages through which one has to pass are known as Parapinda, Anadipinda, Adipinda, Mahasakara Pinda, Prakruti Pinda, and then Garbha Pinda. Second one is just the discussion of the body. For the first time, Goraknath said, this human body is an esoteric body. There are 9 chakras in the human body. You cannot see. Esoteric means something you cannot see. It is not for all. It is only for the sadhakas. So human body is an esoteric body. In this body, there are 9 chakras. There are 16 adharas, bases. Some lokas. In detail later on I will discuss. Next is just knowledge of the pinda. What is this pinda? This pinda, jatha pinde tatha brahmande. The entire world is reflected inside the human pinda. This is macro. The world is macro. This is micro. The world is macro. Jatha pinde tatha brahmande. Jatha brahmande tatha pinde. The next is, what are the foundations of the human body? That is, to Natha yogis, the realization of Shiva and Shakti in eternal union is the ultimate goal. Next you find the perfect union, unification, Sama Rasa Karana. Goraknath says, Samadhi is not the end. There is another stage after Samadhi, and that is Samarasa Karana. What is that? So, when the yogi realizes the ideal of Samarasa, the difference between matter and spirit vanishes. The difference between finite and infinite disappears. The difference between Jiva and Shiva dissolves. The last one is Abdhut Yogi. What are the characteristics of a Abdhut Yogi? Abdhut Yogi is a Siddha. Everybody cannot be Siddha. So what are the characteristics of a Siddha? So Goraknath says, an Abdhut Yogi perfectly realizes the ideal of Samarasa Karana and attains perfect freedom from all ignorance and ego consciousness, all bondage and narrowness of outlook, all desires and attachments, all cares, fears and sorrows, and above all, the sense difference and plurality. So, now, the second chapter, that is the Parampara, the greatest contribution of Nath Parampara, that is the Yogic Parampara, the Yogic Sadhana. So, this sadhana are Adhatmik sadhana, Bhautik sadhana, and Hatjog sadhana. So why Gorakshnath? As earlier I have told you, he was the inventor. What are there inside the human body? He was the first explorer. What are the chakras? What are the others inside the human body? So, to Gorakshnath, he gave importance on Bhautika sadhana, spiritual practices. To him, what is the aim of this sadhana? That is Jiva Mukti, simply. Jiva Mukti. liberation while living. So liberation means immortality first in a perfect body, in a siddha deha. Then we will get a divya deha. You want a siddha deha. You want a vajra deha. You want to burn the impurities. Human mind and body have so many impurities. Let me tell you one thing. So, what happened? There was a man. He was in the hell. So, what happened? He was about to be reincarnated. He made the God of incarnation. So, God of incarnation told, Sir, I am going to be incarnate. So, but I have some conditions. So, what are your conditions? जी देखिए, if you want me return to the earth, so as a human body with certain conditions. First condition, now what? I must be born as the son of a cabinet minister. When I will grow up, I must have more than 100 acres of land. Again, what? Then again you see, I must have so many beautiful wives. What more? Now you see, I must enjoy honor and prosperity and live until I am 100 years old. I must live for 100 years. So the God of incarnation said, I must get Nobel Prize. You see, these are the conditions. So the King of incarnation said, so if there was such a lot of things, so many amenities on earth, I would go and be incarnate myself, and I will not give this chance to you. Go and remain in the hell. So human body and human mind has some impurities. These are ingrained. So what was the objective of Gorakhnath? The mind must be purified, the body must be purified. Body must be a siddha deha, a vajra deha. Then it will be converted into a divine body. So let me tell you, so what was his logic? His first logic was, he gave importance on esotericism. So esotericism is not what is secret. All cannot know. A sadhak cannot know what is esotericism. So it refers to those religio-philosophic belief systems. It has a different belief system. What are? So the esoteric aspect of human body is twofold. First one is, it consists of the greater world, the cosmos, which is esoterical present within an individual. What Gorakhnath has said in Upadesha 3 of Siddha Siddhanta Padhati. So what are the examples of Gorakhnath? If this body is the cosmos, representation of the cosmos, he said, the tortoise is situated in the soles of the feet. Patala in the big toes. There is Patala. We believe in 7 patals, 7 patalas. Taltala above the big toes. Mahatala in the heels. Rasatala in the ankles. Sutala in the calves. Bitala in the knees. And Atala in the thighs. So these 7 lower walls are under the dominion of Rudra, the Lord of the gods. So second, so Gorakhnath said, you see, only in Siddhanta Padhati said, but in other texts, he said regarding 7 chakras, somewhere 6 chakras. But only in Siddhanta Padhati, he enumerated the importance of Nava Chakra. These Nava Chakra or Nava Padmas or Nava Kamalas. This word Nava, 9, is a very mystic word. In Jagannath cult, we call Navo Dino Jatra. Lord of the universe, Jagannath, Bada Bhai Balbhadra and sister Subhadra, he follows the principle of equanity, samaras. When the cars are pulled from the Rath yard. The first people carry the car of Lord Jagannath. During the car festival, the car of Balabhadra, that is known as the car chariot of Taladhwaja, pulled first. But during the return journey, the car of Subhadra, the sister, that is, the direction is changed fast. So even Lord Jagannath, the head of the family, they follow Samarasya Karana. So here Gorakhnath, why he has given importance to the word 9? It is a very mystic word. Navagraha. Tara, suppose, let me tell you something. Think of 5. 5 into 9. Kitna hota? 45. You add 4 and 5, it is 9. You go upward, 5. You go upward 6. 6 into 9, 54. It is also you add. It is also 9. 9 into 7, 63. That is also 9. You come downward from 5. 5 into, that is suppose 5 into 4 into 9. 5 upward, then 4 downward. 4 into 9, 36. You add this, it is 9. 3 into 9, 4. Then 3. 3 into 9, 27. It is also 9. So Gorakhnath adopted such a mystic word, 9. So what or why? So these 9 chakras are conceived as different stations. You cannot see those stations. In the central Sushumna Nadi, which has been called the Brahma Marga. So there is coiled Kundalini at the basic center of this, that is Brahma Marga, Brahma Chakra, at the bottom of the spinal cord. It has 4 petals. Mediated on her like a blazing fire at the center, fulfills the desires. So in this chakra, Kundalini Shakti lies in a spiritual condition, and here in she is first awakened and pushes the psycho-vital energy upward in the path of Sushumna. So in this Muladhara, a yogi meets with the first chakra, which is called by Gorakhnath at the Brahma chakra. The first chakra is the Brahma chakra. Second one is the Swadhisthana chakra. At the root of sex organ inside the spinal cord, there is Swadhisthana chakra with 6 petals. Next is Nabhi chakra with 10 petals. So Kundalini exists in it with 5 coils shining like a crore of morning suns. It is generally known as Manipur chakra. Kundalini, as revealed in Manipur chakra, is also named by Gorakhnath as Madhyama Shakti. Kundalini is divided into 3. Meditation on her gives fulfillment of spiritual discipline. The 4th chakra is the Hridaya chakra, also called Anahata chakra. Anahata is a type of sound. Anahata chakra with 8 petals facing downward are the heart center shining brightly. So what are the results of meditation on this chakra? Meditation on a linga-like luminous form with undivided mind gives mastery over the sense organs. You will have full control over your 5 senses. So the 5th chakra is called Kantha chakra, also called Visuddha chakra. So next important chakra is, that is the Talu chakra. Talu chakra. Talu हम इसको तालू बोलते हैं. In Kannada, Agyan chakra, correct. So at the root of soft palate, the yogi drinks drops flowing ambrosia from the Sahasrara chakra. Gorakhnath says that in the Talumula there is Ghantika linga. That is a little bit, you open your mouth, you will find that is just above the epiglottis. That is a person Just pointed one. From Sahasra, Goraknath says that in the Talumul there is Ghantika Chakra, that we call Ghantika. Ghantika Linga, at the root of which there is a small hole, a perfect vacuum, which is called Sankhini, and also Dasadwara. This Dasadwara is a mystic word. And it is followed by Kabir, Nanak, Dadu, only from Goraknath and from Nath Parampara. The seventh chakra is located between the two eyebrows, Bhru chakra. It is the center of occult vision and is the eye of higher knowledge. Meditation on the divine, resembling a bright flame of limited lamp, makes a yogi perfect in speaking the truth. Whatever he speaks comes true. The eighth chakra is a Nirvana chakra, and the ninth chakra is known as the Akash chakra. The highest point of the point of Sahasra. It is described as a luminous lotus with the 16 petals facing upward. Meditation on Shiva Shakti on a triangular seat at this center gives the fruition of all desires and all values. The holy journey of a Kundalini, starting from Muladhara chakra for union with the Lord Shiv, reaches here. So these are the 9 chakras. Very briefly, I have described. Secondly, in this esoteric body, what are the bases? You cannot build a temple without strong base. So what are the bases of this divine body? And Goraknath has described 16 bases or adhars in the body, which are aids to yogic discipline. They help, they facilitate the yogic practices. Adhar literal means that which holds or contains. The first, I will describe only 6 adharas due to paucity of time. The first adhar is called Padmagustadhara. An aspirant should imagine and meditate on a luminous circle at the end of a big toe, fixing his eyes upon it. You have to raise your toe. जैसे आप लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, you have to stand and just look out at the point of the light. So fixing his eyes upon it. The practice makes his eyesight keen and attention steady. The second base is Muladhar. An aspirant should sit erect, cross-legged, on an even seat, press the base with the ankle of the left foot. The practice kindles the fire in it quickly and pushes the psycho, vital energy upward through Sushumna or Brahmanadi. The third base is Gudadhara. The fourth base, which is important, is Medhadhara. It is located at the foot of the sex organ through which the semen or ovum is ejected. The fifth adhar, which is also equally important, is Uddayana adhar, located in the middle of the root of the sex organ. The sixth adhar is Navyadhar, is located at the roof of the navel. The seventh base, called Hridayadhar, is the seat of Anahat Chakra. The psychovital energy pran is retained here. The retention of inhaled air in the heart unfolds and opens the 8 petals of the heart lotus, stops the downward flow of the psychovital energy. The 8th is Kantadhar. The 9th is Ghantikadhar. The Ghantikadhar is also important. Kyun? The 9th adhar called Ghantikadhar is located at the root of a soft palate. Nectar flows gently from the region of the moon in Sahasrar. देखिए हमारा जो नाभल, this is the naval portion. The below is sun, the upper is moon. The moon and sun theory, it is also mystic theory. So the Amrosya, the Amrit, that flows from the moon. And moon is the seat of Shiva. And sun is the seat of Shakti, Kundalini. So Talu Adhar, the 10th base called Talu Adhar, is located at a still deeper region of the soft palate, An aspirant should elongate his tongue, push its lip through the small hole inside the roof, the soft palate. So these are technical. You will open your mouth. You can see a person coming forward. You have to turn your tongue and try to toss that. Through sadhana, the amrit that will distill, that will come out, and that will give you some sort of new energy. The 11th base root of the tongue is called Jivadhar. The 13th base is Nasadhar. The 14th base is called Kapatadhar, is located at the root of the nose. An aspirant should focus his vision on it. The 15th base is called Lalatadhar, is located at the center of the forehead. The 16th base, called Brahmadhar, is the seat of Akash Chakra. An aspirant should meditate on the blessed feet of the spiritual teacher at the Brahmadhar. Here, Guru is Shiva united with Shakti, absolute spirit united with the divine power. So these are the 16 adharas. Then Goraknath said, that yes, there are 3 lakshyas. Lakshatraya, he has described in the Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati. What are those lakshatrayas? One is Antarlakshya, Bahirlakshya, and Madhyalakshya. So Madhyalakshya is a meditation on the flame of a fire, luminary lighting solar. So Antarlakshya deals with meditation on internal objects such as Sushumna, minute form in the Kullala Mandapa. Then he has said about Vyoma Panchakas. There are 5 Vyomas. What are they? Now the 5 Vyomas are Akasha, Parakasha, Mahakasha, Tattvakasha, and Suryakasha. These are the 5 Akashas. Then, as I have told you very briefly, let me tell you how to awaken the Kundalini. Kundalini is the vital Shakti. So the divine power Kundalini remains in Muladhara, the basic center, like a sleeping coiled serpent. So Shakti is assembled in that center. A yogini or a siddha or a sadhak can awaken her by breath control and opening the door of Sushumna by practice for a long time. She is made to pierce the 9 centers, the chakras of mystic consciousness, and ascend to Brahmadhara through Sushumna called Brahmanadi, and is united with the Shiva there. So very briefly I told you, there are so many different types of Kundalini, not necessary. Then this Kundalini sadhana is also known as the Ulta sadhana, the regressive process. Why the regressive process? As I have told you, the sun is here, the sun is below, moon is here. So Kundalini is in upward motion, reaches the, that is Sahasra. So it is something ulta, because that's why it is also known as Ulta sadhana. Then, as I have told you earlier, the another important aspect for which the Nath yogis, Nath Parampara is very popular throughout the world, that is Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga, yes, it also combines 2 words. One is, as you know, that is Ha. Ha means the sun, Tha means the moon. So the union of the sun and the moon, that is known as the Hatha Yoga. And it is said, not Patanjali, it is Nath who first popularized Hatha Yoga, then followed by his disciple Gorakshnath. So what are the objectives? Why do we give so in the everywhere, in America, in Australia, in Russia, you have so many yogic centers? Why these yogic centers are so important? Why Hatha Yoga is so important? What are the objectives of Hatha Yoga? The objectives of Hatha Yoga is to attain the state of Samadhi or liberation with immortal body and conquering diseases, your old age, your death, and controlling your seminal fluid, seminal essence, bindu what we call, making the prana to enter into Brahmadhara by awakening the kundalini through the means of asana, pranayam, mudra, and nadanusandhan. So the objective of Hatha Yoga is the purification of the nadis. There are so many nadis, 70 more than 84 lakh, some say 72,000 of nadis, arteries in the human body. And also according to Natha Siddhas, the aim of Hatha Yoga is attainment of Shivhood. A Hatha Yoga practitioner wants a divine body or Vajra Deha which would guarantee him immortality. Next, Hatha Yoga techniques has two ways. The first one is the Bindu orientation, giving importance on Bindu. Bindu means the human semen. The second one is, as I have described earlier, awakening the Kundalini, and it will reach the Sahasrara. So these are the two ways of Hatha Yoga. But this Hatha Yoga sadhana, it has 20 branches, 20 divisions. The first 8 divisions are Ashtanga Yoga. The same that has Palini told, but much more difference. Goraknath brought many innovations. So, 8 Ashtanga Yoga, then the additional 12 subdivisions are the various asanas, bandhas, and bodily exercises, what we call mudra. देखिए, in respect of Hatha Yoga, though Panini has nothing to say about Hatha Yoga, but still then as regards Yama, you find, say Goraknath has, generally some say, he has omitted the first one is Jama. The second is Niyama. Goraknath has said about 10 Niyamas. Tapas, Santosha, Astikya, Dana, Siddhanta, Sravan, Hri, mane modesty, Mati, Japa, Brata, etc. Second one, Goraknath gave and Mashinath gave importance on asana, which Patanjali did not do. What is the definition of asana according to Patanjali? Patanjali said, Sthira Sukkhma Asanam. That is the definition of asana. What is? Na body posture, which can be maintained with the comfort. Asana means only body posture according to Patanjali. Goraknath said, no. That is not only asana. What is asana? The asana defined in Goraknath is much more than the body posture. Its emphasis is on mental posture or mental attitude, what we call asanam iti swasya rupe sama sanata. He has said it in the Siddha Siddhanta Padhati. So, the complex physical postures were first included in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Lord Shiva selected 84 asanas. Some people say out of 86 asanas, Shiva selected in 84 asanas. So Patanjali does not mention about any asana. That is the beauty lies with Nath Parampara and particularly with Gorakshnath. So what are those asanas? You see, the important asanas are Siddhasana, lotus posture, lion posture, that is Bhadrasana, Swastikasana, Gomukhasana, Muktasana, Vajrasana, Virasana, Gorakhasana. That is why Patanjali did not enunciate anything about asana. He did not name any asana. That's why we find Gorakhasana, Matsyendrasana. And Paschima, then back posture, Mayurasana, Kurmasana, Mandukasana, Phanindrasan, serpent. And then Gorakhnath, Nath Parampara gives importance on pranayam. Pranayam, two words. Prana means air, ayam means management. And Professor Harakrishna Satpathy is present here. He told me in the morning, sir, do you know the meaning of management? MBA. क्या सर आपने बोला? माल 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 बोही आनो. M stands for mal, माने goods, माने अर्थ. Bohi means bring. MBA. Ano means bring. The definition is MBA is mal bohi ano. No. So here pranayan means prana means the air. Iron means how to manage it inside the human body. So you see here it is the vital force. Gorakhnath has said about 10 pranas. Prana, Apana, Samana, Udan, Bhana, Naga, Kurma, Krakra, Devta, Dhananjaya. So the first 5 are pranas. So you find in the human body, there are more than 73 lakhs or more than 72,000 nadis, arteries. What are the important nadis? As described by Gorakhnath in Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati, Ida, Pingala, Sushumna, Gandhari, Hastijiva, Pushva, Yashoyoni, Alambusha, Kuhu, and Sankhini. These are the 10 important lines. What are the location of those? Very briefly, Ida nostrils, Pingala nostrils, Gandhari eyes, Kuhu, anus, Sankhini, generative organ. So, what are the purposes of this pranayama? Why you give so much importance to pranayama? Because main aspect of hot yoga is also pranayama. Pranayama practices, which are the means to the awakening the kundalini, aim at devitalizing the ida and pingala, thereby allowing the prana to flow through the susumna. Pranayama is broadly divided into puraka, inhalation, rechaka, exhalation, and kumbhaka. You will retain the air. In Hatha Yoga, kumbhaka includes inhalation, exhalation, and retention. There are ashtakumbhakas in Hatha Yoga, that is Surya Vedana, Ujjayi, Sitkari, Shituli, Bhastrika, Brahmri, Murcha, and Plavini. Again, Gorakhnath gave importance to mudra that Panin did not do. What are these? देखिए, ये Kolanama Tantra traces the word mudra. The root of the word mudra is a Sanskrit word. Mud means delight, pleasure, anand. But to Gorakhnath, mudra means saran. So, we find mudras are 25 in number. What are they? Jalandhara Bandha, Jaladhara Bandha Mudra, Mula Bandha Mudra, Udiyan Bandha Mudra. People say Odisha was a Udiyan center, tantric center. From this word Udiyan, the name Odisha originated. Mahamudra, Mahabandha Mudra, Mahadeva Mudra, Vipariti Karani Mudra, Khechuri Mudra, Bajroli Mudra, Manduki Mudra, Ashwini Mudra, Pashwini Mudra, Kaki Mudra, Matangini Mudra, Bhujangini Mudra, Ambasi Dharana Mudra, Dharana Mudra, Bhayabhi Darsana Mudra, Akasi Dharana Mudra. Apart from these 25, there are 6 more mudras. Kundalini Mudra, Kundalini Bandha Mudra, Kundalini Bheda Mudra, Kundalini Vipariti Karani Mudra, Pori Dhana Jukti Mudra, and Kundalini Kriya Mudra. So these are the important aspects of the Hatha Yoga. All these 3 are included in the spiritual sadhana of Gorakhnath. Sadhana of Gorakhnath are of 3 types: spiritual, Hatha Yoga, and Bhautik sadhana. I'll take 5 minutes for this Bhautik sadhana. Bhautik sadhana means, as you know, Jama, Niyama, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyana, but I will tell on Samadhi. All these points you know. Why so much important is Samadhi is for Gorakshnath? Kyun? Now, Samadhi is the state of mind wherein an individual soul, that is Jivatma, and Supreme Soul Paramatma are united, wherein all desires for sense pleasures are destroyed. As salt is dissolved in water, in Samadhi the mind is dissolved. In Paramatma, the sense organs and the mind cease to operate. Pleasures and pain, heat and cold, and praise and blame are not experienced. Nira labde niradhara, nirakare niramaye. Jogi jogo vidhane na param brahmani liyate. That is the importance of Samadhi according to Gorakshnath. But Gorakshnath doesn't end with the Samadhi. And what is the beauty of a Gorakshnath? Now, after Samadhi, that is Samarasa Karana. What is this Samarasa Karana? Now, a Siddha Yogi with the highest spiritual aspiration is not to be satisfied with the attainment Samadhi in any, but the high spiritual plane of transcendent experience or with the acquisition of supernatural powers in the lower planes. They can walk in the air. They can walk on the water. So they can attain those siddhis. But that is not important. Now what is important? Now Samarasa Karana implies the enjoyment with equal relish and joy with perfect equanimity and tranquility in the normal waking state of phenomenal consciousness of all orders and forms of phenomenal self-manifestations of the Absolute Spirit. Then, let me tell you, I have completed the yogic sadhana parampara of Natha cult. So what are the important texts on Hatha Yoga? Nath's book, the first book, that is Kodogana Nirnaya. Dr. Prabhochandra Bakshi, he was the vice chancellor of Vishwabharati. He collected a manuscript from Nepal library. He edited that book in 1934. Kodogana Nirnaya, Akula Viro Tantra by Nath, Maschendra Sanghita. Maschendra Sanghita is edited by a German scholar. Then Gorakshnath, books by Gorakshnath on Hatha Yoga, Gorekha Sanghita, Viveka Martando, Gorakha Sataka, Amanaska Yoga. There are other books. Because Gorakshnath most probably has written more than 25 Sanskrit texts and more books in Hindi literature also, and in Odia literature, Sishu Veda, Gorakha Sanghita, these books are there. Then, as I have told you earlier, the other important aspects related with the Nath Parampara is a little traditions. What are these little traditions of Nath Parampara? And these little traditions, they relate to their appearance, their rituals. What are those appearances? In case of a Nath Yogi, you will find the Karna Kundal. You will find the Singhi, the whistle. You will find Sarangi, that is in Odisha we call Kendra, a musical instrument. They sing the songs like Bhajuki Naramo, Namo Re Govindo, Bhajuki Naramo, Namo. That is a musical instrument. Then Mekla, the West band. Then Jagyom Pavita, what you call the sacred thread. Pavitri, ring. Kopini, Halamatanga, Dhandadhari, Rudrakhya, Kantha, this is a type of clothing. Danda, Khapar, Bhasma, Adesh. When one Nath Yogi meets another Nath Yogi, they greet each other with the word Adesh. Because the word Adesh is found in the Chandogya and Bruhanaka Upanishad. The word Adesh is given in the Lalita Charitra. In this context, the Nath Sampradaya, why they use this word? According to the Siddhanta Padati, he who addresses a yogi by the auspicious term Adesh, which obliterates all opposites, realizes Ishwar in the form of Atma. That's why they greet each other with the word Adesh. Initiation ceremony. Nathas, they follow initiation ceremony in two phases. कैसे होता है? Now, initiation is divided roughly into two stages. The first, a probationary period, followed by ceremonies leading to the preliminary discipleship, while the second is performed by ceremony of splitting the ears. Then we find Manasik Yogi. What is Manasik Yogi? That is also prevalent in UP and also in Odisha. What is Manasik? Manasik means you have some wishes. If my son is suffering so many diseases, if he will be free from all these diseases, then he will some kamna, he will some wish. He will dedicate the child, sell the child to a Nath Yogi. This is called as a Manasik Yogi. So recently, one administrative officer in Odisha, his father was army officer. So he found his son was suffering some diseases. So he sold the child to a Nath Yogi. So when he grew up and joined Odisha administrative service, he said his father, Papa, you have sold me a Nath Yogi. Now you have to bring back me to your fold. How to do that? Now again, 7 days will be fixed. That boy will wear different type of turban, then the bhikkha thala, and he will move with the Nath Yogi. He will cover 7 houses, beg for alms. At the end of the 7 days, what will happen? The father again will give some money to the Nath Yogi. Then now he give back my son. That is the known as Manasik Yogi. You have Manasik. You had thought something. Ma Chandi, Ma Durga, you fulfill my desires. In lieu of that, I will give to that. That is Manasik Yogi, prevalent in Odisha also. Then, the most important aspect of the Nath Parampara is they have left their footprints in the entire literary landscape of India. Gorakhnath is, or he played a pivotal role for the development of all regional vernacular languages. Literature, I mean provincial literature, development of literature in all the Indian states was possible only for the Nath Parampara. So, such an important role has already been played by the Nath saints. What are they? Now, as all of you know, the Nath tradition has significantly influenced the spiritual framework of both Saint Kabir and also Guru Nanak. As earlier I have told you, when Mr. Pant, a Hindi Sanskrit scholar, asked Gorakhnath, why Nanak is so important? Why Kabir is so important? So Osho replied the importance why they are indebted to the Nath Parampara. In what way? They borrowed many things from the Nath Parampara. Here, why Kabir is in many ways depend on the literature left by Gorakhnath. The basic tenets are Nirguna God. God has no form. Religious orthodoxy. Both are secular. Role of the Guru in Nath tradition, much more importance has been given to the Guru. The Guru is important. That's why they believe in Nath Parampara. Parampara, even though in English we say tradition, but a Guru can transmit his repository of knowledge, experience in a better way than anybody else. Then, use of yogic terminology. In case of Gorakhnath, you see, he has used many yogic terminology. And those terminology, those terms, we are borrowed by Kabir. How? You will find Gorakh Bani is there and Kabir Bijak is there. I'll tell you only 5 words. You see, the word is Sahaj. In Gorakh Bani, this word has been used for 50 times. Kabir borrowed this word from also Gorakh. He used it for 12 times. Gagan, Gagan Mandal, it is a symbolic word. Gorakh Bani you will find 35 times. In Gorakh Bij you will find 10 times. Anahata. I have told you while describing the different chakras, what is the Anahat chakra? So Anahat, Surti, Ashin, Chakra. These words are used in Gorakh Bani. The same words Kabir has borrowed, and you will find those words in Kabir Bijak. Next come to Mirabai and Surodas. You know, in one essay, Mirabai as wife and Jogi, there you will find how Mira has borrowed Nath concept, the tenets, the doctrines of Gorakhnath in her sadhana. Let me tell you one poem, that is, Jogi, day and night, I was the road, that difficult path where feet refused to go. So blocked, so steep, so overgrown. A Jogi came to town. He roamed around but didn't find the love in my mind. And I was a girl of such simple ways that I had no way to make him stay. Now it has been many days that I have watched for that Jogi, and still he has not come. The flame of loneliness is a kindle inside me, inside my body fire, tapaha. The very word tapa used by Gorakhnath. So I have quoted these lines from 3 Bhakti Voices by John S. Howley, a Western scholar. So what do we find in these lines? The aforementioned poem describes the pain, the pangs of pain, of loneliness and separation as a fire using word tapa. The choice of words here is significant, for tapa from the Sanskrit root tapa refers not just to the heat of fire, but to a specific ascetic heat. The poem thus suggests that intensity and single-mindedness of Mira's devotion is essentially yogic and ascetic nature, and the concept borrowed from Gorakhnath. Again, you find in case of Surodas, if I knew where to find Gopal, I would go with a horn, Shingi, earring mudra. As I have told you, these are the little traditions of the Nath Parampara. Begging bowl in hand and wearing the clothes that Jogi women do, I would don a patchwork cloak, slather ashes on my skin, and bind my hair in an unkept mound. If I thought I could meet Hari, I rouse old Gorakh by carrying on like a Shiva, the great god. I would burn my mind and body and cover myself with dust. So here, Sur says that without Krishna, all Braj is empty. Shunau, Sunshan. So this is the term Nathas often use to designate ultimate reality, this state of emptiness. So now, also we find the influence of Nath Parampara on the saints of Maharashtra. The influence of Nath Parampara tradition also appears on the Bharkari Sampradaya. The Maharashtra Bhakti tradition drew much of its inspiration from the Nathpanthi spiritual verses influenced by Gorakhnath. Ganeshwar was one of the most prominent Bhakti saints of Maharashtra, known as a mystic point in the Nath tradition. His Ganeshwari, 1298 AD, contains elements of Gorakhnath teachings. According to Nath tradition, Ganeshwar was born to Vital Gobind, Kulkarni and Rukmani. The couple set out on pilgrimage with their children to Trambakeshwar, where their elder son Nibruti was initiated to Nath tradition by Gorakhnath. So the parental great-grandfather of Dhyaneshwar had also been initiated into the Nath tradition by Gorakhnath. Next, let me tell you something about also the impact of this Nath tradition. Very briefly, as we find in Sufism. In case of Sufism, I will only give some details about only 2 points. One is Malik Muhammad, that is for Padmavati, and another is Mir Shayad for Madhumalati, 1544. So in case of Padmavati, we find, what do we find? The influence of Natha Parampara we also find in Padmavati. The king left his kingdom and became a yogi. Clothed in a patchwork, he gripped his staff in his hand with a view to becoming a Siddha, as Gorakha prescribed. In his ears were earrings, around his neck a rosary, in his hand his drinking bowl, on his shoulder a tiger skin, on his feet were wooden clogs, and he had an umbrella over his head. He carried a begging bowl and put on ochre attire. He set out to beg for happiness, having made outward show of penance and yoga in his body. May I win Padmavati? Again, we find in case of Madhumati, the hero Manohar falls deeply in love with the beautiful Madhumalati. So, in both the compositions, Madhumalati and that of Padmavati, you find the influence of Nath Parampara. Then you find the Indian, as I have told you earlier, the entire Indian literary landscape borrowed a lot from Nath Parampara. You find the esotericism literature. Esoteric literature is also very often said as it is a upside down poems based on Sandhya Bhasha. What is that? So Gorakhnath is the first literary figure, not only a yogi, not only a Siddha Purush, not only a Sanskriti Purush, but is the first literary figure who advocated the doctrine of Sabbath. What is that? Gorakhnath was the most promulgator of the doctrine of Sabbath, which is core or pivot of the Bhakti movement. Sabbath doctrine was first effectively enunciated and popularized by Gorakhnath in the 12th century, and all later Bhaktas have only passed the torch handed over to them. This would put Kabir, Raidas, Surdas, Dadu, Tulsi and others in their proper place and would raise the Maratha saints to high level as influencing factors with Jaydev. The credit for writing the vernacular should go to Gorakhnath and epoch-making Marathi saints Nibriti-nath. The Shishuveda composed by Gorakhnath is the link between Odia Charya literature and Sala literature. The Sabbath doctrine was first taught by Shiva to Parvati. That you will find also in the Kolo Gyana Nirnaya. Shiva is Bhairava. Parvati, Bhairavi. Parvati asking the question. Shiva is replying the tenets, the doctrines to Parvati. So this is a separate formula in literature. So Parvati, however, had fallen asleep. The Sabbath doctrine was first taught by Shiva to Parvati. Parvati, however, had fallen asleep during the talk by Shiva, and the teachings had been picked up by a parrot who later incarnated as Sukadeva. As the first man teacher of this doctrine, like Gorakhnath, Jnanadeva and Laldeha were also Sabada deities. Next is upside down poetry. This also we call the Ulta Bansi or the upside down poetry. What is this? You tell something, but the meanings is hidden. Kaise? Now the calf is fixed and the stick is tied to it. The big drum walks. Separate me. The big drum walks. The camel sounds. The people tree sits on the branch of a crow. The cat runs away. At the sound of mouse, the traveler is walking. The road is tired. The bed is sleeping on the woman. So it has a different meaning. Kabir has borrowed it from Gorakhnath. Kaise? The ocean is on fire. And also Nanak borrowed it from also Gorakhnath, the deer in the trap. In Odia literature, there is I will quote only 4 lines. Mana Brahmara re, oh honeybee, Mana Brahmara re, ye phule nahi se baso. That fragrance is not in this flower. Kahi pai tuhi, are bai hoi ochu, tohi ki pai bhu bas jasa. You cannot glory any honor and gesture. Why are you running after this body? Are Parvata Sikhare Padma Phuli Achi. As I have narrated you the 9 chakras with so many petals. Are Parvata Sikhare Padma Phuli Achi. Leuti Rahichi Puspa. The petals are down. Jehetu Paibu Sethabu Kujibu. Are Jiti Jebetu Paibu Sepat Setaku Jibu. Nisinte Hoibu Tosa. You will be happy only by your practices. Mana Brahmara re, ye phulore nahi basa. This body devoid of that fragrance. Setharu tribani bahuchi ujani. जैसे मैंने बोला ना सुषुम्ना the other nadis 3 nadis. Setharu tribani bahuchi ujani. तहिरे खेलुछि हंस. अरे अमुहा देउले घंटी बाजू अछि. Nahi rajani divesa. You cannot distinguish between day and night. Are mala hoji gale bhela budi jibo. Kahoi Gorakha dasa. These couplets in Oriya composed by Gorakhnath. Mana, I have 15 minutes more. Mana Brahmara re, ye phule nahi se basa. These are what we call the upside down meanings. Sandhya bhasa mein these couplets are written. They convey a different meaning. So, next, the Gorakhvani. Why? Nath Parampara is also relevant today. Gorakhvani, so many important doctrines are also compiled in Gorakhvani. Let me tell you about only 2 banis. Look how important today, even the 21st century human life. Habaki boliba. Thobaki chaliba, dhare dhare shobha paom, gorobo no koriba, sohoje rohiba, mato gori rao. Speak little, walk little, live with restraint, give up pride, live simple, without any ego. Because these words, prophetic words, also relevant in the 21st century. Thoda bole thoda nahi itim ghati. पवनम रहोई समाई गगन मंडल में आहत बाजे पैंद पर लेत में सदगुल्लाजे. देखो another 2 lines. मरो हे जोगी मरो, मरण मरो मरण हे मीठा. जिस मरनी मरे जिस मरनी गोरख मरी दिथा. Died a death by which Gorakh died. So these are very, I do not want to explain these lines. Next, as I have told you, how this Nath Parampara is still very pervasive and found in most of the countries of most of the Asia Pacific countries. But I will only mention about 5 Indian states. Let me start with Karnataka. देखिए, in Karnataka, hundreds of images of Mashendra Nath along with other Nath yogis from 12th century onwards are noticed from sites such as Kadri, Lepakhi, Hampi, Magdi, the Someshwar temple Ulshar, Bhatkal, the Vaideshwar temple, Talkadu, the Jagyandeshwar temple at Nandigram. Again, the Kadri Matha along with the Manjunath temple that is situated near Mangalore on the Malabar coast is also considered as being one of the early sites. Then you see northwest India. The legends Gopichand, Puran, Bhagat, Chaurangnath, Guga, the latter called of Balaknath, these are pervasive in entire North India. In talk of central India, there are images of Mashendra Nath are noticed on Surya and Vishnu temples of Khajuraho. And in Bengal and Assam, according to the accounts found in Bengal, Mashendra Nath and Jalandhar Nath were the direct disciples of Adinath. Queen Mainavati was the disciple of Gorakshnath. Kanipa Nath was the disciple of Jalandhar Nath. In Odisha, people say that Matsyendranath was born in Odisha. Jajpur was the capital of Odisha starting from 1st century AD. Goraknath came from, that is from Baleshwar side, the present Dhamra port. So from there he came to Jajpur. He had his Kolu sadhana, Yogin sadhana. He got an invitation from the rulers, Sthalasamba dynasty of Assam. Then he proceeded to Assam, Kamrup. From there he went to Nepal. So scholars say that Matsyendranath was born in Odisha. And even one Malika Nath, as Nagendra Nath Upadhyay, he has written a book, Goraknath and Inka Jug. Again, we find in Oriya tradition refers to several siddhas such as Hadipa, Kanhopa, Tantipa, Chaurangipa, Goraknath. Again, we find in Gujarat, the Kanthadi Nath was a well-known siddha in Gujarat. And in also Goa, Adinath was worshipped in Usgaon, Kasabe, Pernam, in Kindolem. So the Nath, also we find Nath tradition in Goa, in Telangana, in Andhra, in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So I think my time is over. No, I have 15 minutes more. Now you started at 10:40. I will take on 10 minutes more. You see, when you talk of Odisha, you say the Odisha is famous, the Battle of Kalinga. Kyun? Now Ashoka was converted. He embraced Buddhism. From Chandashoka he became Dharmashoka. Then you say, oh, Odisha is famous for the love lyrics of Jayadev. Odisha, yes, Odisha is famous for the architectural splendors. And it is acclaimed the Italy of India, having a long coastline, more than 500 kilometers. But I tell you, the Odisha is also famous from the Nath Parampara. We have a Goraknath temple in Odisha. Not that we find in UP, no. We have also a Goraknath temple. And you see the Lord Lingaraj, Shiva, in Bhubaneswar, a 12th century temple dedicated to Lord Shiva. You find whatever traditions in Odisha, Odia people borrowed the traditions from Nath Parampara. One such Parampara is Prathamastami. You find we have an elder son in the family. So, what happens in Odisha, in every year, Prathamastami day, Prathamastami is 8th day of Krishna Paksha in the month of Margashir. As 12 months are there, the idols of Lord Lingaraj, Devi Parvati, Devi Rukmani and Vasudeva are carried in 2 vimans to Kapali Matha. One Matha, Kapali Matha, very close to the boundary of the Lingaraj temple. That is the mama body, the uncle's house of Lord Lingaraj. The mine, it means of Lord Lingaraj is Kapali Devi. So these idols, they move from the Matha. That is owned by the Nathas. Then they take bath with water taken from one Papanasini Kund. All the new, cloths are provided by the Nath Mahants. And on that day, in every Odia family, you find, then every Odia family, they wear new clothes. We prepare a cake, we call it enduri. That is a steamed cake inside the cocoon of fresh turmeric leaves. And that parampara bequeathed by these Nathas of Odisha. During the car festival of Lord Lingaraj, the car stops near the Kapali Math. The water of the green coconut and offerings provided by the Nath Mahantas are also offered to the deities on the chariot. Then let me tell you the influence of Goraknath on Odia folk dance, Nath Parampara and folk dance. So the Naths are the mass teachers in Odisha. Kyun? Now, Tikka Kobi Chandru, as you know, the Upakhyan of Govind Chandra of Bengal and also Odisha, very popular in Odisha. It is sung by the Nath mendicants in the village streets. The melancholy sung with the tuning of a kendera attracts the children and also the women folk. The popularity of the glory of Govind Chandra is still prevalent in Odisha only by Nath yogis. That song is like this. Bhajuki naramo namore govindo Bhajuki naramo namo Bhaji no parile kulo chandra mare Bandhi nebo kalo jomo. The kalo jomo will take you away. You take care of your health. Sehi kalo jomo bodo daruno re. That kalo is very nichtur, very cruel. Sehi kalo jomo bodo daruno re. Nomanoi bodo sano. Bachi nebo koncha rokhibo pachila. He doesn't select. He doesn't select whether you are ripe or you are green. Bachi nebo koncha rokhibo ne bachi nebo koncha rokhibo pachila devore daruno dukha. Imagine the way the Nath tradition, the Nathas are the mass teachers in Odisha. Then is a Pala, then Dandanurtya, and Jogi Tasma, that is Tamsa. So these are all folk dance and folklores prevalent in Odisha. Mainly, they owe a lot to Nath Parampara. Then there are some math tradition in Odisha. The Kapali Math is there. That is Kyarbang Math is there. So many mathas are there in Odisha. So this Nath Siddha Parampara are still beckoning the wildered humanity. Legacy of Nath Parampara that we call the Siddha tradition still alive in Odisha. Observance of Prathamashtami and Mahasivaratri are contributions of Nath Sampradaya to Odiya Sahitya. The Rahasya, the Prohelika, the subject literary tradition, poetry has specially been cultivated by Nath yogis of Odisha. The Panchakhas of Odisha literature while also immensely influenced by Nath tradition. These mystic verses and couplets are mostly of the Odia origin. So let me, Vijay Babu, let me conclude because you are I have already taken the front seat, giving me some signals. So anyway, it is impossible. I have taken much of your time. It is actually impossible to exaggerate the impact of Nath Parampara. The traditions, I mean the tradition bequeathed by Nath Parampara, Gorakshnath, in the psyche of the people of India, on the saints of India. The ideal of Samarasya, as I have explained earlier, as preached by Gorakshnath and Nath Siddha school, has far-reaching practical importance in all stages and conditions of our phenomenal existence. We have to realize Samarasya in our physical life, even psychical life, in our intellectual life, moral and religious life, in our social and domestic life, even in relation to all creatures, even in relation to the whole world. This spiritual idea of Samarasya or Samarasya current will solve all the problems of religious difference in the world. In India also, the yogic ideal of life is the panacea. The Bani of the saints is the panacea for all the evils of the world. And this is the message of Bharatvarsha to mankind in all ages and in particularly in the 21st century. My gratitude to the organizers and also to our chairman, Mr. H.G. Raghuvan, who has been standing like a bedrock. This, K.G. Raghavan, sorry. Namaskar. And also our director, H.N. Suresh, who are standing like bedrocks. Sources of an inspiration, encouragement. And also, I also express my gratitude to Vijay Babu and to all the organizers. I conclude saluting my paying and my humble respects to Mahajogi Goraknath, the crowning jewel of spiritual India. Let us celebrate his legacy to take our nation to greater and greater spiritual glory. I consider it pertinent to quote Bhavabhuti, the 8th century dramatist of the play Uttar Ramcharit. I will be very grateful to you, as I have expressed my gratitude to all the organizers. Whether you will like my deliberation or not, that is not important for me. But my concern is the way the Indian saints, particularly the Nath saints, immensely contributed to the literary landscape. The yogic tradition still prevalent and relevant in the 21st century. What Bhavavati has said, Jenam kasidehina प्रथयमंत वज्ञम जानाति ते किमपि तात्प्रति वैषयः उत्प्रतस्य तोस्ति मम कोपि समाधर्मा कोई समाधर्म में काम उत्पश्य तोस्ति मम कोपि समाधर्म कालो ह्यम निरवधि विपुला च द पृथ्वी. So there will come along someone who shares my spirit. The world is vast and timeless. So conclusively, this much I have to say. I am grateful for your enduring patience and also Sadharja Shruti. Thank you very much for your patience and listening. Thank you.